And now I'd like to introduce you to Kim Stevens. Since 2003, Kim Stevens has been a program coordinator and virtual secretariat for the Water Sustainability Action Plan for British Columbia, the partnership umbrella for an array of initiatives that promote a water-centric approach to community planning and development. He's an engineer planner whose 35 years of experience cover the spectrum of water resource and infrastructure engineering issues from master planning and computer modeling to project design and implementation. He specializes in public policy and integration of perspectives as they relate to urban watershed planning and application of decision support systems. In addition, he has a leadership role in a series of provincial initiatives in British Columbia related to water sustainability, rainwater management, green infrastructure, and smart development. Kim has received international recognition for his pioneering efforts and has been invited to speak on the British Columbia experience and to make keynote presentations in forums in Australia and through North America. And I'd like to turn it over now to Kim.
And the first test, right? Oh, you're So I have control now, and
You have the power.
I have the power. Okay. Well, the first thing I should say is that Mike and I are simply the warm-up act for Ted Van Gulik. So we will just move through our part of the presentation, and then you'll do the online stuff, right, Ted? That's right. Okay, so we're here to talk about doing business differently, living water smart. It's all about partnerships, collaboration, innovation, integration. All four of those words will kind of come out in the next 45 minutes or so. So where do I point this? Just over there? Okay. So to sort of set the context of what we're talking about, it's really important to understand provincially what's happening. There's two things that have come about in the last year. One is living water smart. How many of you have actually heard about living water smart? Good, 3, 4, good, okay. Because that's our vision, that's our provincial vision. And you couple that with the Green Communities Initiative. And so Living Water Smart is a provincial initiative led by the Ministry of Environment. The Green Communities Initiative is really led by Ministry of Community and Rural Development, which is really all the enabling tools. And so vision plus enabling tools, that's what's allowing us to create a vision or a picture of what we want our regions of this problems to look like. And it's really all about preparing communities for climate change, choosing to live in water smart, and then striving to build greener communities. And so that's really the themes that you've been hearing today, and especially at lunchtime. So it's all part of an overall groundswell in this province. So in terms of the action plan, which is an incredible partnership in that the province is very much part of it, and a sponsor along with the Real Estate Foundation of British Columbia, which is actually a creation of government in a sense. But there's fact this collaboration and the delivery through the British Columbia Water and Waste Association to really make things happen from the ground up. And in terms of the three of us, back in the late 90s, we were all members of a provincial working group to develop a water conservation strategy for British Columbia. And so we like to talk about the fact, along with you, Eric, we like to talk about the fact that really what we've been doing the last 5-6 years is implementing the fine print. And but it's very much, we've heard the highfalutin words, and so we're very much about the on-the-ground tools and applications. So, what's it all about? Well, part of our language is talking about the new business as usual. That's our phrase. Why would you want to do the old business as usual? It hasn't worked. But the key thing is really challenging people to think in terms of what do you want this place to look like in 50 years? And if you can kind of visualize that, think back to what are you going to start doing now to make it happen? So, visualize what we want to look like. Our mission is to create a legacy for our children and our grandchildren. So when we talk about sustainability, we're talking about how you influence choices by individuals and organizations. So not playing with that word, but using that word, it's a lens. So it's a lens for considering approaches that influence choices. This is what you'll hear more once you get to the next part. So in terms of the action plan, our graphic, which kind of captures the elements of it, and it's very much bottom-up, grassroots. It's working with practitioners, it's building that capacity, and changing expectation by providing tools, because the highfalutin words only carry you so far. So the tools are important, because then if you have the tools and you can begin it, what we find is if people can generate a number, they begin to understand the assumptions behind the number, and that's when the change in thinking begins to take place. So in terms of the action plan and the partnership umbrella, what we do is we create a neutral forum to have the conversations that you otherwise wouldn't have. And the language we're using right now is regional team approach. You know, and as I reflect on my career, you know, the expression regional approach has been around a long time. But the last year, inserting one word, team, seems to have had a huge impact. It just changes the whole way people view things, because it's a way of taking ownership. When I see you're nodding, you've been around long enough, you've got the gray beard, you know what I mean, right? It's yes. So, but it's also bringing people together. You know, look at the list. It's the province, you know, the legislative framework, it's local government, and you know, and my view of the world basically is through the eyes of those who were in local government and building those bridges to the other groups. And you know, it's the developers, it's the stewardship sector. In terms of our Vancouver Island pilot, the relationship that's taking place there between the NGOs and local government is actually incredible to watch in terms of how the two groups can actually help each other, support each other. And Ted here, we got to mention the agricultural sector, right? So our mentor, our wise mentor, is the in the audience, but it's really emphasizing the importance of partnerships and collaboration. And the message is aligning actions at the three scales. That's why I started by mentioning, you know, Living Water Smart, how important it is that we have a provincial document that creates a vision of what we would like to have. Then you start lining up the regional and the local actions to make, you know, that picture, that vision come to fruition. And so when we talk about the regional team approach, it means agreeing on expectations and how everyone will work together. And it's not the cookie cutter approach. It's not the cookie cutter approach. It's just that, you know, you have a consistent understanding and consistent expectations, and then you go and meet your goals in your own way. Now, how many people here are actually from local government? Okay, this is matter. See what I mean, right? It's not a cookie cutter approach, right? The regional team approach, just to kind of give you a quick snapshot, really had its genesis less than a year ago in the Vancouver Island Learning Lunch Series. The partners of the Cowichan Valley and the Comox Valley began to talk about, in terms of a desired outcome of having these learning lunch series as being a regional team approach. It's only this year we began to think about the significance, as I said a moment ago, about what does regional team mean. And so in the past year, we've had a forum in Surrey called the Surrey Forum. Again, that idea out there. We showcased it provincially in conjunction with the annual conference of BC Water Waste Association in Penticton, when we talked about what was happening in the three regions, the island, Metro Vancouver, and the Okanagan. And it's being demonstrated right now in the Comox Valley as a way of how people are going to work together to achieve the regional growth strategy objectives. So again, kind of giving you the upbeat, the inspirational part of this presentation. What does it all mean when we talk about why partnerships and collaboration is so successful? Well, it starts with a common vision. It's all about creating the learning and the networking opportunities. And it's really, not from our perspective, it's focusing on the relationship between land and water. You know, in my career, and in Ted's career, and Mike's career, we've seen people talk about you know, land and water, but it's the integration of the two that we've had a lot of trouble showing that message home, haven't we, Ted? And that's promoting the sharing of ideas and experience, and you guys will elaborate in a moment. So, just to leave you with this thought that Eric found in a churchyard in England, which is about a vision and a task, meaning you've got to have that goal, but you've also got to be grounded. So a vision without a task is but a dream. A task without a vision is but drudgery. A vision with a task is the hope of the world. 1786. Mike.